Just want to start the show with a quick shout out to Pete Harney, Ryan from the Gamers Week podcast, and a brand new friend to the show, Dan from Retro Logic podcast. He has joined my other two stalwart friends as a patron of this fine program. Check out his Twitter at Retro Logic Games. He's a great podcaster, a really good dude, and honestly a really funny follow. He's got a lot of good jokes, and he loves this community, and he loves retro gaming. He is a solid follow, so please do so. And if you want to join this group of extraordinary gentlemen, then sign up on Patreon at patreon.com/agamerlooks40. There's 2 tiers. Pick one that works for you and join the club. Enjoy the episode. And welcome to this edition of Tales from the Bargain Bin. Bill Tucker here, and we have a very special birthday guest. It's his birthday today, as of this recording, Mr. Bobby Tucker. What's going on, man?
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yes. And what better way to celebrate your birthday than talk about the Sunsoft classic released in 1989, Fester's Quest.
Mm-hmm.
A much maligned and beaten up video game for the NES. I will just, first off, are you doing anything fun for your birthday, sir?
Nothing today yet, but I have some plans tomorrow, and then actually some delayed plans next Saturday with friends. So I have some fun stuff lined up, and it's
excellent.
Like the first birthday to have post-COVID at the time, because the last 2 have been locked in. So yeah,
and yours, I mean, 2 years ago, yours was right around when everything started.
When
so
it just
boy,
started.
Oh boy,
Yep.
Yeah. So Fester's Quest, this is a game that's been widely beat up. I see this game as like he has bruises and a broken leg. Everyone kind of dunks on Fester's Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of state the thesis, let's actually start off with the first part. Do you remember how we acquired this title?
I'm almost certain it was an Aunt Nancy gift to you, but I don't remember if it was birthday or Christmas. And I don't even know why you got it. Did you ask for it, or was it just something she came across?
It just appeared.
Yeah,
it just appeared in the ether, like those things tend to do.
And I think at least this one makes a little sense to me, because she would at least know what the Addams Family is.
Right.
Our grandparents know what the Addams Family is. It's been around since
Yes.
the 30s, I think. And so that's one thing you could come across in a store and go, oh, Uncle Fester, he's funny. And Bill likes video games. Done.
Done.
Just like very
Done
easy
deal.
thing to do. Yeah.
We have one trip to Bradley's, and we are going to make the most of it, damn it. So let's get Fester's Quest going. I remember being, again, it's like anything else on this show, we played it because it was there. So of course we played it. It is a very tricky game it's a tricky game because of mechanics, not because of design. If that makes sense. So if you've never played Fester's Quest or seen a single video on this game, allow me to explain. You play as the titular Uncle Fester from the Addams Family series. You have a gun, and you are out. Actually, at the beginning of the game, you're straight chilling on a balcony with a party hat on. I think he has a little party hat on, and he looks to his left and sees a UFO begin to steal and tractor beam the denizens of whatever town he's in. He turns to the camera with a very surprised face, and you begin your adventure. Uncle Fester has a gun. The main weapon in the game is that gun. There's 8 stages and 8 pickups and upgrades you can make to that gun. The biggest problem with the game is the gun. Your primary source of shooting things. What's your recollection of firing and defeating enemies in this game?
I mean, the collecting guns, you get upgrades from shooting enemies, and it's all random. You'll get blue blocks for gun upgrades, and then red ones that actually degrade your gun, which sometimes, depending on the level, works in your favor.
Yes.
But I remember it being very satisfying, like seeing all the guns and picking the ones you like. Eventually, you want the cone gun. That's the more powerful one.
Right.
But I do remember like there's like a boomerang gun and a bubble gun, and like the the patterns those guns go for sometimes like completely work against you depending on the level.
Yes, and that's the biggest issue is that when you hit like mid upgrade.
Yeah.
I played it for about half an hour before this recording, so that's all I got, and I died easy 5 or 6 times because that's just what happens in this game.
Absolutely.
But the good news is you keep your upgrades when you die, which is good. You just have to kind of traverse the terrain again and the sewers again to go back and forth through the level to get where you're at.
Yeah.
The main issue with the gun is exactly like you said. The bubble, for example, circles around.
Oh yeah.
It just circles around the frogs and the different enemies. Fester only has 2 life pieces.
Yeah.
Life nuggets.
Yeah.
You have 2 basic status effects that can hurt you. Is of course one is damage, and the second is being slowed down by different projectiles that the enemies can spit at you or throw at you, etc.
Right.
Enemy designs are neat. I think the boss designs are really good. I think they're really cool for the most part. The bosses are extremely easy though. Once you figure out the pattern, it's just that war of attrition. But we'll get there.
Sure. Yeah.
Just the biggest issue with this game is in the level design itself, is because the levels are designed with very tight corridors. So if you're trying to get between 2 hedges, for example, and you have the large bubble gun, I think it's like the 6th upgrade or 6th level upgrade. You can't hit anything. No. you can't shoot anything. Everything is bouncing against the sides, and you literally just can't fire your weapon. And at this point in the game, you don't have a whip, which will fire straight ahead. You also get a whip that you can upgrade throughout the game. That's the biggest problem with this. And Uncle Fester walks very, very slow.
He's an old man.
He is an old man. He is not in a rush. He's in no rush to get anywhere.
He's up against an alien invasion.
But you would think there's an urgency, right? At least a little bit of spring to his step. He is just plods along the upper area. I'm looking at the one thing here real quick is it's the game uses Blaster Master's engine for the overhead shooting.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, which is strange. If you think about it, there are definitely similarities to that.
Huh.
But yeah, Blaster Master's good. This is not. This. You know what? Go ahead. I'll let you kind of chime in on the other things that can be acquired in this game, because there's also items and things like that which are useful.
Yeah. Well, my biggest gripe with the game, and I'm almost curious to play it now as an adult because I think I'd like it even more. Because when you're younger, it's your patience might wear pretty thin. It's a very challenging game. I think that's got to be stressed to the max. Those 2 bars, when you die, you go back to the very beginning of the game.
Is it the beginning of the game or the section you're at?
Beginning of the game. You go back to that dang steps where the mansion is, and now your upgrades are still with you. I guess your gun is still upgraded, but you got to go through all the sewers and you don't have to redo the bosses. You kind of just go through those mazes again, and then you can get back to where you were. But it's an endurance, and after like the 2nd or 3rd time, you're like, nope, I'm not doing this. Especially as a young kid, there's just no way to continue onward.
And it's funny you mentioned about patience. My patience goes down as I get older. Like time becomes more precious, so I feel like I would. But I think the issue with Fester's Quest is also the repetitive nature of the combat. The enemies that you square off against either A, take forever to kill, and then B, they just respawn constantly.
Very, very quickly.
It's an endless stream of frogs and slime and rats, and it's very hard to progress because, again, your only verb is kill them, is shoot them, because you are not agile enough to evade them. So all you can do is shoot them, and if your weapon is not up to par, or you've mistakenly picked up those gun downgrades,
right,
you're just doomed. You're doomed.
You're kind of stuck. The best you can possibly do is hang out in the sewers and then try to get the gun upgrade you want from the slime, because the slime multiplies when you shoot it. And then I remember but it was very generous with like giving you upgrades and downgrades depending what you have to do. But again, if you're repeating the whole game for the third time, you got to get through this slime that just multiplies as you shoot it.
Right.
And it's just so tedious. I do remember you do eventually get whips at some point.
You do? Yeah, you get a whip.
And I remember the whip working better on the slime, but that's way later in the game.
Yeah, it takes a while to get a whip.
Yeah.
In order to get certain special items, you have to visit homes.
Right.
So you have to literally break into your family member's home. Evidently, your family members don't all live in the one mansion like the show.
No.
Everyone's like diversified. They've all got their own jobs, their own families. Everyone's spread out, including Pugsley and I forget the girl's name.
Wednesday?
Wednesday, thank you. Pugsley and Wednesday, they got their own house too. They're just like hanging out. To do that, you need a key. Keys are drops from enemies. The other drop from enemies are light bulbs, which you need to light up the sewers. Obviously, Uncle Fester, famously in the show, sticks one of those in his mouth and lights it up. Tee-hee. That's great.
Yeah.
So imagine, if you're playing the game, imagine you traversing the sewers, shooting rats and slimes with a light bulb sticking out of your mouth. That would be how that works.
I never made a connection.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because he just has light bulbs. I never really put it together why they turn on. Of course.
Yeah, and they don't go out, so it's not like it's a...
No, Uncle Fester would put him in his mouth. They did that in the show. Yeah. I remember now.
That is one of the few kind of references to the show. Because once you get past the opening and the characters, there's not much. It's just an alien shooting game with Dr. Fester. I don't think he has his doctorate. I don't know.
He's just Uncle Fester. he's just the main guy's brother who hangs around the house and blows things up in the basement.
Well, he's a scientist, so maybe he has some sort of credentials. I don't know.
He's a hobbyist. All his methods are his own, I think, but they work sometimes.
Yeah, that's good enough. That's fine. Oh man! So other things in this game, your aforementioned family members, they provide you with kind of higher end items. You can get a potion, which refill your health. You get invisibility potion, which makes you invisible and invulnerable, of course. Also, you can't see yourself, which is weird. You can't. It's a very strange option because it's not like it comes up like a shadow. You just go away. I think, if I remember correctly. And you get vice grips. Vice grips come from Wednesday, and they will cure your slowness. Right. Again, like there are certain enemies that will cause you to move even slower than you already move at half speed, which is actually a good strategy for getting past certain areas because there are certain enemies that won't take health away. They'll make you walk slower. So once you're walking slow, you're just going to keep walking slow. You can get stung by those bees 100 times. So it does help in certain situations, but not great. And finally, you get TNT, some dynamite. Dynamite's extremely weird because you just place it. You can't throw it. You can't.
Yeah. And you have to walk away from it. Does it hurt you?
You have to walk away from it.
I don't remember if it hurts you.
I think it does hurt you, and if you walk away from it, you spawn more enemies.
Right.
Because that's how the game works.
Yeah.
So that's really kind of useless. They're decent against bosses.
I think it's more meant for bosses. Yeah. I remember that being the only useful application. Yeah.
Yep. And finally, I'm not sure if there's more than that. There might be. I just don't remember. I played a half an hour of this. I wasn't about to do any more. Is nooses. Actually, I'm watching a playthrough. And I froze the playthrough on Mama gives you nooses. That is a bad sentence, and the picture of Mama is fantastic. She does not look pleased to see you.
That's funny.
Mama gives you nooses. So,
nice.
Just in case you know what your mom gets you. And nooses take out all the enemies on screen. Again, kind of useless because they just come right back.
Yeah, I barely remember the nooses. That's weird.
We never got far enough, Bobby. We didn't get far enough in this game.
That was my question to you. Did you ever beat it?
I might have with Game Genie.
Because I remember Game. That was my next question. Is like, did Game Genie help? Sometimes Game Genie didn't help. No. Depending on the game sometimes, and they didn't have good codes for a game. I don't remember this one being good. for
You know
Game
what?
Genie.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I think you're right. I don't think I ever beat this because Game Genie had bad codes for it. At least the code book it came with.
Yeah. Because then I would have beat it, But no way I beat it. No way.
I think you're correct on that. I think the problem is because again the game does it have unlimited continues?
I
don't think
so.
it does. Does it? I don't know.
Well, you know what? That's a hard question because after 3 continues, I'm like, I'm done. So I don't know. I didn't make it far enough. I didn't die enough to find out. But
oh man, that's true. I don't know if it did or not. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, I think there might be like a continues code, but you couldn't get one. What you really need is life. Like I don't let the life not tick down, but
yeah.
And then always with Game Genie, the thing was, oh, you could program your own codes.
Yeah.
It's like, look, dude, I'm like 11. I'm not learning hexadecimal to figure out what this code is supposed to be.
But
come on now.
Now, do I remember correctly? If you go through there are these first-person mazes that were very unique for their time. The only other game I think that had it was Go-Go 13, right?
Go-Go 13 definitely had these kind of first-person mazes.
Yeah.
If you walk into it's like an office building.
Yeah.
That office building will contain the boss of the section. The idea is that you gather clues as to what that thing you saw was.
Yeah.
Clearly it was a UFO, Uncle Fester. Like, I don't know.
What was it, though? What could it mean?
I don't know how this clue helps you in your quest to defeat the aliens, but
yeah, right. You have to build the picture. That's right.
yes,
Yeah,
you got to build a picture. And of course, when the last one is, you leave one last puzzle piece. It's clearly a UFO again, as you saw in the beginning. But these buildings will contain the bosses. These are also where you can find the health upgrades.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
yes, you can find walls that you look like a dead end, but then you hit it one more time, you pick up a health upgrade. So you can maximize your health blocks because and you kind of want to do that because 2 is just not enough. You'll die too soon. Yeah, and for a visual of these first-person mazes, like imagine sort of like cubicle walls, but then endless into like maze tunnels. Like they were just constant white walls or gray, and there was really no like defining like pictures or like landmarks other than like doors. And the doors meant it's where you came from or where you're trying to get to, So.
Right. And there's only 2. There's only one.
Right.
Actually, sometimes there'd be more than one. It would take you out to a different part of the building.
Right.
But yeah, there was no way to identify where you were going. So
No.
there was no spatial awareness. You just kind of wandered around. And there's no enemies. There's no friction.
Yeah.
The only thing there is again, you can pick up a new health bar and you have to slam into a wall twice.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
basically you spend the entire time just slamming into walls and hoping you get a health pickup.
Yeah.
When you do fight the bosses, they're cool looking. I think across the board, they're really neat. Nice big designs.
I think the bosses look really cool. I forgot how much. There's a lot of creativity in this game, and I was surprised how much like effort went into this. When I was like watching some of the recaps, I haven't played it in a very long time, but I was watching old footage, and I was like, yeah, there's some clever ideas in this. The Uncle Fester, the Addams Family connection's very minimal, but the stuff they added was like unusually creative. Yeah.
No, I had a very similar reaction. I did play it again for about a half an hour before this recording, and when I went to turn it off, my instinct was, I think I want to play a little more. Like I had that little drive, like, let's see if I can get a little further.
Yeah.
Which is the sign of a decent game. I definitely don't think this game deserves the AVGN smashing, Game Grumps destroying that a lot of that it's experienced over the years. It gives me the same vibe as Friday the 13th on the NES, where it's a game that people loathe and despise, but when you actually play it and think about what they were trying to do, it's like, this is actually a pretty neat concept. Like there's flaws and there's things in here that are terrible, but as a whole, I respect what you were trying to do. And I think Fester's Quest is in a similar vein. I respect what they were trying to do. They were trying to,
I think it's actually a pretty good game. I'm actually, I'm more surprised that I like how much I appreciated it. And, I think the thing that weighs it down is just the difficulty. I think that's what people remember, especially from like, your formative years. Like that's going to stick with you. Oh yeah, this game tortured me. You're just not going to get. But looking at that's what I meant. Looking at it as an adult, I'm like, this is not a bad game at all. I'm kind of curious. I want to try playing it again, and seeing how far I get.
Yeah, that's kind of my energy too. It's like, maybe I could, because the bosses are not terribly hard. I mean, especially the first couple, pretty straightforward. Going back to the beginning, it stinks. What are you gonna do, right? You just kind of. But by then, you're pretty well, kitted out. You know how to get through the sewer areas, which are big mazes.
Yes.
You could get back where you're going pretty easily to a certain extent. Also, another thing we didn't mention is you do collect money. I think as a kid,
I was going to mention that.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I don't remember what the money's for, though.
Oh, okay. Well, I
only remember one thing, and I thought a nice touch. You can use money to buy hot dogs, which replenish your health.
Yes,
I remember that part.
I'm pretty confident that's all it's there for.
Oh, okay,
that's it. And each hot dog costs $5.
Oh wow! Even in 1989, that's unusual.
Yeah, that's high prices for a dollar dog. I mean, it was just a stand, and we're not going to a fancy restaurant or anything. No, it's definitely the dollar. I did that today because I'm like, I think the health that replenishes your health, and I'm like, that helps. Like if you're in this game, like the enemies are throwing money at you. It's not in short supply. So, and you'll have the potion eventually. I think the worst part about this game is its ramp up. Because the first 30 minutes, 45 minutes are brutal. Because you're trying to build up your gun. You don't have a whip. You have no potions. Yeah. You can't move fast. The enemies constantly respawn. Yeah. And occasionally, once in a while, this horrifying... that still haunts my dreams, Bobby. Horrifying spider alien thing comes from the bottom of the screen and chases after you.
It's very creepy. Yeah,
it thing is horrifying.
Yeah.
I don't want to run into it now.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
I kind of remember them creeping you out.
Oh my gosh,
I kind of remember that.
I think that's one of the reasons I didn't play the game much. Like I didn't want to run into those spider alien things. That's probably why I didn't finish it.
Once they showed up, you're like, get inside. You're just trying to run from them. I think.
Yeah, and I think they still stick around. Like they are just brutal, those things.
Yeah, they stalk you.
They just stalk you mercilessly. I think because I don't know if it's random or if you spend too much time in an area. I don't know, but when I played it today, I was going downward down a street, and my brain went, "Please no spider, please no spider, please, please. I don't want to see that thing." I got too much creepy stuff happening in Hollow Knight right now. I can't handle more gross things.
Difficulty. Yeah, is definitely what I think weighs this game down. And those guns, some of those guns are just brutal in the sewer stages. Those walls are so thin sometimes, and there's like rats that run along, and those will kill you harder than the slime. It's so obnoxious, and it's funny. Like thinking about it, like one thing that I hate in any video game, and I'll use this time to bloviate. Because there's one theme that I just run across in every game. Like Angry Video Game Nerd hates bats, right? He's always running into bats, and he's like, "Why is there gotta be bats? Why are they always programming bats?" Mine, and it's something I run into in every game, old or new, it doesn't matter. I just hate sewer stages. I think they're boring. I think they're endless. And every game has them. I don't know if they're just easy to program because they're just tunnels. And if it's not a sewer, then it's like a basement with tunnels. So they don't program water. But it's still a dang sewer. And it doesn't matter. And every game, new or old, I'm always like, I can even feel it coming, like, I'm going into a sewer. Oh, darn it. And then it's like, I'm going to be down here a while. And they're just so boring to look at, and they're endless corridors, and just, I don't know. It feels like filler in a lot of games to me. And I play a lot of horror games, so it's also like, it's a real easy way to hide people around corridors and stuff to scare the heck out of you.
Dark and damp, and
literally using flashlights. You can't even see 2 inches in front of your face. Yeah, it stinks. Go ahead. This place, a game like this, you're in a sewer every other level sometimes. Yes, because you're going in between like sections, and these sewer stages are also just tedious and endless. There's rats, and that slime that multiplies, and a creature that I actually respect a lot. That's kind of interesting. There's like a pink ball that eats through walls, and it comes out the other side. Yeah. And they're very hard to kill. I remember them being really hard because you see them coming from the corner, like, oh no, and then you got to sort of time it, but they can come from other sides, and you're like, it's just a nightmare.
It is, and I remember those. Remember how fun they are. It is pretty neat when you shoot them because they spin in circles.
Yeah.
You go whoop, 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 and then you just get because then there's 8 of them coming at you, and they just start. And you just sit there and shoot, and that's the tedium of this game. And
that's
I think
tedious. Yeah.
if the weapons were more tuned to the environments that they created, like the sewers, like you said, the hallways, the corridors are really short. So if you have the large bubble, which is like the 4th or 6th upgrade, if you have a large bubble, you cannot progress. In those sewers, it's impossible.
Or the boomerang gun. No, it's impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
So you really need to just kind of grind it out, get the best gun early as possible, and then
once you get that cone gun that has like the 3 cones, that's perfect for the sewers. You're just mowing down, and it's easy. But it's the bubble, or any of those like swirly guns, they're just a nightmare. Apparently, and I read this earlier today. The European release, they actually like fixed some of those wall issues. So the bubble gun actually works okay in the sewers. I can't attest to this. I've never played the European release. Next time, if I'm ever in Europe, I'll take a look. But
I will find the I will find the European ROM. They exist out there. And
I
see
bet.
if I can see if I notice the difference.
I want to see.
Yeah,
it.
man. Yeah, it's Fester's Quest, man. It's a pretty good game. I don't think I like it as much as Friday the 13th. I actually think Friday the 13th is a good game. Like, surprise, actually good. I think I'd have to downgrade just because of that shooting mechanic and how tedious it is to do the main thing the
tedious difficulty and this pace of it. But it's a very ambitious game for its time, and I don't know. It's there's stuff that I like about it. I'm willing to play it and see if I appreciate it a little bit more. As a kid, I liked it until I didn't. It's very
yeah. Now, I will, with our last few minutes, I don't know how long we have. I don't check. I should pay attention. Again, this is based off the Addams Family. Did we watch the Addams Family? I feel like we did, but like maybe by osmosis. I don't know. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Nick at Night had the show from the 60s or whatever. I think that was the 60s, right? But I feel like there was a cartoon in the 90s, and that I definitely watched. But I wouldn't have called myself an Addams Family fan. But I know everything about the Addams Family.
That's what I'm saying. Like, all the iconography and all the characters.
Yeah.
It was always between the Addams Family and the Munsters.
Yeah.
And that was always like, and I think I watched the Munsters a lot more.
That was the more sitcom-y, funnier one, especially Herman Munster's very funny.
Yes, he's great.
I think he's very funny.
He's great.
Addams Family is a very creative idea, just like this off-kilter family. The Munsters was the same idea though too. But Munsters was more sitcom with like a laugh track. Maybe Addams Family had a laugh track too. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I watched a lot of Addams Family. I think I was team Munsters. I think.
I definitely never saw the movies.
I was gonna ask the movies.
That holds a heart in a lot of like 90s millennials hearts. But right? I never saw it. Yeah, I missed that one. There was a sequel too, I think. Yeah.
Wasn't there a modern-ish sequel to the Addams Family movie?
Well, there was a very recent animated Addams Family movie from Illumination Studios.
Oh yeah, Addams Family 2 in last year.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Huh.
And
Chloe Grace Moretz as Wednesday.
Weird.
And Oscar Isaac.
That's weird.
As Gomez.
I have no recollection of this.
Oh man.
Weird.
Snoop Dogg as Cousin It. If that's not casting.
God.
And while I don't know who these people are, maybe these are like side characters. Wallace Shawn as Mostella. Wallace Shawn is of course famous from Inconceivable. He's that guy from The Princess Bride.
I'm pretty
sure. Princess Bride? You've never seen Princess Bride?
Oh, I missed that one too. I'm sorry.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Huh. It's a beloved strange movie.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Everyone's told me it's good. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Charlize Theron is Morticia. All right, we got some actors here. I guess everyone needed a paycheck. You put Snoop Dogg will do anything. Like
Snoop Dogg did. Snoop Dogg. Are you aware of the puppy ball on Animal Planet?
Yes, I am aware of the puppy ball.
Snoop Dogg did field work for the puppy ball.
Wait, what?
Well, I forget. They would cut to him, and he was with the kittens, and it was Snoop Dogg. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was with puppies. Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart were doing commentary on the puppy ball.
What is happening
during this past Super Bowl? So I don't know. I don't know if this is the cause of long COVID. I don't know. I'm just going to leave it alone. But yes, Snoop Dogg will do anything. He'll do a Corona ad. He'll do the Super Bowl halftime. He will also do the puppy ball. He'll do anything. Yeah, I think he's also on Cameo. I could just give him some bucks and say happy birthday to you.
I've always wondered about Cameo. That seems like a very interesting service.
It's a very interesting service. It's funny to see who's on there. More people than you'd realize, because I think during COVID, people were just like, agents were just telling like actors, "Hey, do this." Makes them, because there's no productions.
Yeah, no work.
But there's also like the B and C lists, and they look a little sadder. And they're like, they're doing these cameos from like their houses, and they have, their hair's like kind of funky looking, and like. That's the more desperate side of Cameo. It's kind of, but there's some legitimate stars on it too. So yeah, it's a good mix.
Good old Snoop Dogg, everyone's favorite convicted criminal grandpa. We've all forgotten that he was like, he was acquitted, but he was almost charged with murder, and he was a cocaine dealer, and now he's just grandpa. Like everyone loves Snoop Dogg. How can you not? Come on, Gin and Juice is fantastic.
He's the pot grandpa.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's got a bit of a past.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't have a bit of a past?
Yeah.
Oh boy, hang on. I'm looking through Snoop Dogg's Wikipedia, which is extensive, of course.
That's very long, I'm sure.
It is very long. He holds world records, evidently.
Oh, nice.
So let's see. I'm going to read this verbatim. I haven't really. At the Bottle Rock Napa Valley Music Festival on May 26th, 2018, Snoop Dogg and a bunch of other people set the Guinness World Record for the largest paradise cocktail. What in heaven's name is a paradise cocktail? Is that like one of those things you get at like a resort with all the straws in it, and everybody drinks each other's saliva and breath, and everyone just has a great time?
I'm not sure.
Measuring 550 liters, which is 150 U.S. gallons, the gin and juice drink was mixed from 180 bottles of gin, 156 1-liter bottles of apricot brandy, and 26 1-gallon jugs of orange juice.
Wow.
Hey, man. He's got a world record. I don't, so.
You can do anything, kids. You really, it's just, there's no excuses. Get out there, make the world's largest something.
Yes, make the world's largest something, and you too can be written.
It seems like Mr. Beast on YouTube does that every week. So
doesn't he?
So I just go for it, kids. I don't want to hear any excuses.
That's it. No excuses. All right, let's wrap it up a little bit. Bobby, I think you've already said this, but are we taking it home, or are we putting it back in the bin?
Taking it home, and I want to play it again. I think this is a better game than I remember, and I disagree with some of the hate that I remember people giving it. There's obvious flaws, and the challenge is the hard one, but and it might be in that realm of Silver Surfer hard. It's a game that's on the surface is fine, but it's so damn hard you can't even play it. And this one's not as hard as that, but it is equally frustrating with the returning to the very beginning. So, but I would like to try it. So I'm keeping it. Are you keeping it?
Oh yes, I'm keeping it for sure. Yeah, I know when I started this, I think I was in the put it back in the bin, but after just a half an hour, and which again is that hard ramp up, man, I'm kind of enjoying my time with it.
Yeah.
I just wish some of those rough edges were sanded off. We need a fan ROM that kind of takes these edges off and like maybe like that European version.
I want to, yeah.
Widen the hallways. Yeah.
I want to look that up. Oh, I think they narrow
yeah.
the gun. I think they narrow the gun projectile. Yeah, but yeah, from what they addressed that in the European release. So here's my question to you.
Yes.
Because I thought about this when watching it. When the aliens come to take people away, I think part of the story is they take the main patriarch away too. Because you go to all the other family members and houses, but who's the main guy?
Gomez.
Gomez, thank you. Yeah, I wanted to say Gomer. That's not right. Gomez. I think Gomez is captured. So Uncle Fester is his brother. And so part of like the thrust for him to even do anything is go save Gomez. I think that's part of the story because all the other characters are in their houses. I think hiding. I think they're hiding, but they don't explain any of that. You're left to fill in the gaps yourself.
Gotcha.
So my question to you, as brother to brother, would you, in the event of an alien invasion? And I got captured, would you shave your head and grab hot dogs and go out and save me?
You know what? I shouldn't have to think about this. I think it really depends. I need more information on what the aliens were doing.
All right.
Like, if it was a good time, like, you know what? Bobby might be better up there. Like, they're
don't know
learning
that?
alien technology. Right, but I would need to know a little more information before seeking it out. But I think I would at least seek out some more information. And if I couldn't find any, then I think I would grab my blunderbuss-looking weapon that shoots green slime and traverse the dangerous streets of Austin, Texas to rescue my brother from the aliens. Yeah, I think I would. Yeah.
All right. So question 2. Due to alien magic, you die, but you have to go back to the beginning.
I think I'd be fine with that, actually, because then I would be able to say, well, I mean, it's not worth it. I mean, it's too much. Those guys keep respawning. I can't.
I don't know.
Sorry, Bob.
I think by the third death, I'm like, no, he belongs to the aliens now.
I'm just gonna hope that you're kind of partying with them and hanging out.
I hope it's for
learning
the best.
new alien tech. I hope it's for the best. And if it's not, it's probably too late. So back to it. Well, thank you again for joining me on the show. If you're listening to the show, then you're a fan and a friend, and I won't say a follower because that's really sounds like I'm in a cult if I say that. So, thank you for checking out the show. If you want to hear more, subscribe to the program on your podcatcher of choice. If you want to connect on social media, I am very active on Twitter, kind of active on Instagram, and barely active on Facebook. But hey, you never know. I may start upping my game on those other social media platforms. And I have a Patreon. Patreon.com/agamerlooksat40. Early access, exclusive polls, and shoutouts can all be yours for as little as $2. Come on. You can't even buy Fester's Quest, I'm sure, for $2. I'm sure it'll run you at least 40.
I'll take that challenge.
So thanks again for checking out the show. And until next time, continue being awesome.